Cameron. This is the Conduit. We are officially into the next day. It is 1:16 a.m. It is freezing currently in Bremerton, Washington. 32 degrees. I wanted to come back on shortly and follow up on our interview with Jasmin Hernandez. I thought it was important. I don't know if you saw in the chat, it may have been a private message to myself once the interview ended. And what happened was her vehicle, unfortunately, the battery died. And so listening to her story, you know that she was on E, temperatures dropping rapidly, going to be sleeping in her vehicle with her cat, Deadpool, and her significant other, George. And tank on E, not going to be able to fuel the car up. And now the battery's dead. So now you can't even move from where you're at. And so if law enforcement shows up, then it's very likely that they would end up having to tow her, especially with her expired tabs. And so although we had a, kind of a fundraiser where G2 was going to go ahead and match the funds, obviously she cannot wait for that. And so we went ahead and just kind of jumped in there, and I just want to share, the outcome of that. And this happened about in 45 minutes to an hour after the interview.
Okay. Hi, I'm Rob with G2. I'm here to jump your car for you. And I am also here to offer you a hot meal this evening.
Oh,
it is fried rice and donuts.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
And because we said that we would donate $100, I have $100 for you.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yeah. So I guess that's about it.
All right. So I just wanted to update you as to what is going on. We got out there, jumped her vehicle. Today happened to be Thursday. So, we do provide food to the food insecure on Thursdays. So today was pork fried rice, egg rolls, and fortune cookies. And, we get our donations from Franz. And so we had some really delicious Franz donuts also. So, Rob made it out there, jumped their vehicle, gave them the $100 so that they could go ahead and do with what they will. So if they wanted to put some gas in their tank, if they wanted to go and stay at a hotel, if they wanted to save it until the next day and use those funds toward their vehicle, they would have the ability to choose what they wanted to do. So again, for those of you that want to match the donation or donate or go beyond whatever the donation is, please do contact G2. Again, I put the information over there in the chat, 360-373-3000. And we do keep the doors locked during COVID, but we're typically there from about 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So just call before you come down, and we will be there to receive whatever donation you may have for Jasmin and George. Additionally, we are at 419 Park Avenue in Bremerton. We're downtown. We are catty corner from C Film Cinemas. And so if you Google that, that'll put you right within a half a block of our location. Actually, 1 block exactly. We're catty corner also from the courthouse, and we're 1 block away from 7-Eleven. And we are on the 2nd floor, right above the new co-op that is downstairs. And so that is where you can locate us. If you'd like to email us with any resources that you may have for Jasmin or George, our email is over there in the chat as well. Gather2, which is the number 2, grow at g2.org. So again, I don't know where they're at now. I do know that Rob successfully jumped their vehicle, and they have at least enough money to fill their tank up if they want to, or split some of that money. I mean, even if they fill their tank up, they probably would have about 40 or $50 left to do what they need to do for the evening and maybe even to the next day. So again, please, reach out. I think this was a very important conversation. Definitely one of the most powerful interviews this far. Um, and this is why, the conduit was created. Um, when you think about echo chambers or different spaces that you exist in, right? Your friends and family have certain conversations. Maybe your political leanings, you have certain conversations. If you have any kind of religious um, connections, you're going to have certain conversations. And so when you're looking at things from a perspective, typically you're looking at it from the perspective from the bubble that you're in, right? Or the bubble that you have access to. And in this case, oftentimes it's our social media, it's our news, right? And so we kind of hear about the overarching numbers of the homeless problem that we have in this country and in our town. But we don't really have a face and a story to go with it, right? And so we have all of the, mental health, addiction, situation, whatever it is. But it oftentimes goes deeper than that. And so I think having someone who is currently in it tell their story, I think gives us a different perspective on that. And it lets us know exactly what life is like for someone who is trying to navigate life while being homeless. And for many of us, even in what would be considered ideal conditions in comparison, we struggle, right? In a lot of different ways. And so um, just kind of being thoughtful of that. And for those of you who are listening to this, have friends or family or coworkers that you know of that are just hanging on by a thread, check to check, maybe not able to pay their rent, worried about what's going to happen when the eviction moratorium goes away, what's going to happen if they've lost their job, if they've lost their business, if they're going to lose their home because they couldn't pay their mortgage. They could find themselves in the exact same situation as Jasmin. And I think a lot of folks in this country, unfortunately, are going to experience different levels of, homelessness, difficulty. Um, I just don't think we really understand what's coming. From a cynical viewpoint, maybe I believe, this is kind of what needs to happen. And what I mean by that is until other people start to experience it, you have to hit critical mass where enough people experience something where it's like this has to change, right? Enough voices come forward and say we're no longer going to tolerate this. We are going to do something about that. And so on the one hand, I kind of look at it as, maybe this is what has to happen in mass to tens of millions of Americans in order for Americans to say no more. We're not going to accept that. We are the wealthiest, most powerful country on the planet by far, and we shouldn't have anyone who's homeless if they don't want to be. We shouldn't have anyone who's hungry. We shouldn't have anyone who doesn't have health care. I mean, I just don't think those things should exist. But again, right now we're just dealing with homelessness. So I think that's probably what it's going to end up taking. Do I wish that we can achieve that without, having tens of millions of people suffer and for us to actually get in there and make change? I mean, when you look at the state of our governing body, right, and how that works. I mean, take President Biden, for example, right? He campaigned on, $2,000 checks. And, for the Georgia, runoff, it was like, hey, if you do that, we can get checks out to you immediately. Well, here it is. You may get your checks here in the last week of March if you're lucky. And so it's taken that long, and then it will be $1,400, which was cut down because, they already gave out $600. And so even when you have, and I wouldn't say those conditions are ideal in the government, but even when it is in that way, right, these things are happening. And so from Jan 20 till now, how long has that taken, right? The money's still not there. And then what does that actually do? You can put $1,400 in Jasmin's hands, and that might get her off the street for a week or two or whatever the case may be, or allow her to repair her car. But then beyond that, what? Beyond that, what? For those of you that are behind multi-months on your rent, beyond that, what? For those of you that need to pay a mortgage and your tenant hasn't been able to pay rent for several months, beyond that, what? Just food for thought. Just want to share different perspectives, different stories, in the hopes that we can come up with different solutions to the problems that we face and put a human face on it. So I do thank you all for joining me. Again, I didn't want to stay long. Do reach out if you have other people that want to tell their story, or if you yourself want to tell your story. It does not have to be about homelessness. It could be about other things that are concerning to you that you're thinking about. Please reach out to me. You can contact me through Facebook or through YouTube, or you can contact me through the G2 email. Lots of ways to get through to me. You can Google me if necessary. I am there pretty much everywhere. But I am Marwan Cameron, and this is The Conduit. Have a safe and happy Friday. Be good to each other. We can do better. 2021, I am actually quite optimistic as I see so many more people pulling together so far this year. I hope that continues. So I do love the collaborations that have been made. People not only appear to want to work together, but they are working together. And that's been my experience. And that has definitely invigorated me. Tomorrow we will be back at 6:30 p.m. for another interview. And hopefully we will bring you our next hashtag G2 Stimulus 2021. Until then, I'm Marwan Cameron, and this is The Conduit. Until next time. 1, 2, 3, 4.